Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Akila Shaira binti Abdul Aziz with the matrix number of 265455. Today, I will be presenting about my case study, which is corporate fraud. For the introduction, corporate fraud consists of illegal or unethical issues committed either by a company or individual. Corporate fraud often extremely complicated and difficult to identify. This is because the victim of the corporate fraud are consumer, client, customer, creditor, investor, and other business. It is important to be concerned about because fraud cause high costs in business, investor, economy, and society, extremely high cost every single year. Alright, corporate fraud also generate damage to employees, customers, suppliers, and society, as well as litigation costs and regulatory penalties. Okay, next we're moving on to literature review. Literature review is defined in the literature review. There will be a definition. Okay, now, what is the definition of corporate fraud? Corporate fraud is defined as an intentional misrepresentation of company financial information or activities designed to mislead the public and increase the profit of the company. Corporate fraud also refers to illegal activities undertaken by an individual or company that are done in a dishonest way and unethical manners. Okay, next, moving on to the fraud triangle model. In fraud triangle model, there will be three components, which is opportunity, rationalization, and pressure. Okay, for the opportunity, it occurs when a weak corporate governance structure, also lack of effective internal control, and improper control environment. Next is rationalization. Fraudsters wish to rationalize their act and justify their fraudulent action prior to the first fraud act. Okay, next is pressure. What is related with pressure? Pressure is the incentive to commit fraud that can arise from financial and non-financial pressure. Okay, next, we're moving on to the fraud scheme. What is fraud scheme? Fraud scheme is to make a company appear more profitable than it is actually is. Okay, according to the Association Certified Fraud Examiners website, fraud schemes are classified in the three categories, which are asset misappropriation, corruption, and fraudulent financial statement. Next, we will be discussing about the internal and external threat. Okay, first we touch about internal threat. Internal threat is when organizations that have to downsize their workforce may be left with disgruntled employees and corresponding low moral employees. Also, for international threat, they will be more inclined. The employees that is left behind will be inclined to steal the cash, inventory, and fixed asset of the company. Okay, next we moving on to the second, which is external threat. Okay, external threat occurs when the retail industry is experiencing an increase in theft by customer. Customer seems to be most interested in stealing items that are easily converted into cash. Okay, next is type and causes of fraud. Okay, type and causes of fraud means there is six type and causes of fraud. Firstly, poor fraud policy and training. Why is it happen? because the fraud policies are not vividly set, and as well as the training and guiding employees. Okay, next is the poor remuneration. Why? Because the poor compensation and poor states of administration can cause misrepresentation. Okay, third is poor bookkeeping. Why? Because the powerlessness to keep up fitting books of records together. Okay, next is failure to check employees' background. What does it mean and what is the cause of it? Because they do not check and screen the employees first. So if we screen the employees first, we can see that which employees have a high potential to commit fraud. Okay, next, lastly is annual auditing. Why annual auditing is important and what is the cause of this? Okay, it is because the failure of conducting an annual audit. Okay, next, we move to the discussion, the third part, which is discussion. Okay, in the discussion, the overview of this discussion is for this case study, the number of recorded cases of economic crime committed by the company employees in Malaysia is higher than that reported in the Asia Pacific region. Wow. Okay, next, the statement made by PwC, which is PricewaterhouseCoopers, dispute analysis, and investigator leader said that the incentive to maintain an expensive lifestyle, and because of their position, they have an opportunity to override the control system and detect fraud. Okay, next is the companies in Malaysia are more vulnerable to corruption and bribery and suffered more from corruption and bribery as compared to other countries. This is for the overview of this case study. Next, we're moving on to the factors contributing to corporate fraud. Okay, first, the desire or perceive that is needed to attract investor. Okay, this is happened just because for the sake to get attention for the investor. Okay, next is the hiding problem or defects with the company's product. Okay, they are trying to hide their problem. What does it mean? So they are attempting to hide certain side effect or danger associated with using certain medicine that they manufactured and sold. That's for the example. Okay, next we're moving on to the consequences of fraud. What is the consequences of fraud? Okay, the consequences of fraud is first, business will lose money, for sure. Business will lose money. Second, they are expected to make a restitution. Okay, next, the firm may face high cost to forensic accounting service and legal representation. Okay, next, a legal wrangling. And lastly is loss of market confidence, because some markets, if they know that we have committed fraud, they will be lost their market confidence toward us. Okay, next, moving on to the preventive measure to avoid corporate fraud. Okay, there is I think 5 preventive measure, which is the first is a firm can avoid extending credit to the unknown. Okay, the firm can make inquiries, request reference, and determine credit value by obtaining a real credit report. Okay, next is implement and update privacy policy. This is important because the personal information of the customers, client, and employee needs to remain secure in order to prevent identity theft. Okay, next is regularly complete bank statement reconciliation. Okay, this is we can do if we do this. If a check is altered or lost or stolen, the company can identify the situation before it causes issues for the business. Okay, next is the evaluate the risk. What is evaluate the risk? How? Okay, with the total transparency, know what is performed by all individuals and companies. They do business with both internal and external. Okay, lastly is implement detection strategies. How? Why? How? Okay, internal audit and management reviews to help to ensure that all procedures are being followed. Okay, we are now to be in the conclusion. Okay, for the conclusion, okay, corporate fraud in business is no longer a strange thing in 2020 because this unhealthy lifestyle in unhealth and ethical issues does not meet their end. So, we need to give full attention and concern about these matters, about this corporate fraud, as this will affect hardly on economy, business, investor, society, and individual itself. Also, okay, there are also a preventive mechanism as we discussed earlier, which is in the context of Malaysia, government-linked company has a direct control stake through its agent such as Khazanah Nasional Berhad, the Ministry of Finance, Kumpulan Wang Amanah Pencen, dan Bank Negara Malaysia. Okay, that's all from me. I think it is very crucial and very important for us to against this unethical issue, which is corporate fraud in the business. If we are doing or if we are practicing it in the future. That's all from me. Thank you very much.